you expressed some views when the paywall, as did some other columnists. How did you feel about it then, and how do you feel about it now?
Well, at the beginning, we were all quite huffy about the paywall at the Times. We were like, we'd sort of sit there on Twitter and we'd see friends who worked from The Guardian with their pieces going viral. And we'd be like, why don't I have a piece going viral? Zoe's going viral. I'm not, because I'm behind the paywall. And then we noticed gradually that loads of our friends at The Guardian were being let go and, and not having their mortgages paid anymore. And then we became very happy about the paywall, which we thought of as the mortgage wall and the safety wall and the I get to feed my children wall. But I mean, a lot of us didn't realise at the time how big it was going to be and what a huge change it was going to be. I can remember the week that the paywall was going to be put up, I was walking across Hampstead Heath. I just bumped into fellow Times columnist Giles Corran, and he went, "What's this? The internet's coming, I hear. What does it mean?" I was like, "Well, it means that we're going to have to get on Twitter because it means that our writing will be behind a paywall. So the only way we're going to be able to communicate with people is by going on Twitter." And Giles was like, "What is this twatter? I don't know about this at all." Quickly explained the internet to him. Quickly explained electricity to him. Quickly explained Twitter to him. So yeah, so at the beginning we were very anti the paywall, but now we kiss that wall. Mwah. It's like the wall in Game of Thrones. It protects us from the White Walkers who want free content. No, you cannot have free content.
The last couple of weeks has seen a real surge for newspapers, but for the Times particularly, it's 13% up. I guess because people are thinking about Brexit and finding it confusing. How do you see the role of newspapers versus social media at important times like this week?
Well, the key thing is with social media, when it started at the beginning, everyone was like, well, the great thing is it's just infinite voices and infinite information and infinite opinions and infinite reporting. Like, kind of finally the world can talk to itself and we can all find everything out and know what everyone's thinking. And then after you spend 2 years knowing what everyone's thinking and everyone's saying and infinite opinions, you go, you know what, actually that's not what I wanted. That is, I don't have time to listen to infinite opinions and infinite information. Because this is the problem with social media. It's ruled by kids. There aren't really any tribal elders there. You know, if you could point to one thing that's wrong with the internet and social media, it's that often when things blow up and everybody's fighting with each other and screaming and shouting and there are death threats, you're just going, where are the mummy and daddy of the internet to come and tell everyone to calm down? We still haven't even begun the social media revolution. It's absolutely extraordinary because for the first time in history, human beings can talk to each other unmediated. And if you imagine being in space and looking at the Earth, as we've started to communicate with each other online, the Earth has started being able to join up and it would look like a human brain. And you would see all these synapses firing up and making connections. You know, here you can talk to people all across the world. It would look like a brain lighting up. But this is a very infant brain. You know, we are only just learning what it is to be able to talk to each other. And so this little toddler brain of the Earth, of an interconnected humanity, is so young and untrained and often dangerous at the moment. It is like a baby. You know, social media will be suddenly prone to massive rages and screaming and shouting and stuff, but then can be soothed with a picture of a cat or someone's lunch. The problem with Twitter is you can't have it both ways. Like, kind of, you know, we keep being told it's still one of the most influential platforms in the world, that, you know, it has a putative value of however many millions. And then you talk to them about, you know, employing some staff to monitor things and, you know, track down trolls and like, well, we can't afford it. But to me, Twitter seems absolutely endemic of that statistic that it's something like 94% of all programmers and people in tech are men. And so we're only creating a world around a male mindset and things that would be useful to men. I think if women were inventing a social media platform, it'd be very different. It would be much more discursive.
Do you feel safer, happier, more protected in the comment that you get when you're writing in the Times than the comment that you get when you're at large on the internet?
Oh gosh, well this is, I mean, I've got a lot of friends on the Guardian, and I love the Guardian, but I think they made such a massive mistake a couple of years ago when they had sort of below the line comment, and comment is free, and they kind of, you know, encouraged readers to comment on what writers have done, because what you're doing there is you've got your writers, you know, as a newspaper you go, you know, our writers are the key thing about us, this is amazing. You put that writing there, they write their hearts out, and then the Guardian is paying for this massive space where people come along and trash what the writers have done. And, you know, they've run stats on this. You know, it's women and people of colour who get the most trolling there. So you're just, you know, the very voices that you need to be protecting are being the most attacked because of this absolutely bizarre setup where your readers are trashing your writers.
What advice would you give to those aspiring young influencers.
I think it's far bigger than you think it is if you want to be a writer now. You just think like just getting paid a little bit would be the key thing. But what you're actually going to have to do is basically unionize and change the industry to a model where people get paid again as a matter of course. If you want to be known for a voice in the things that you say and the things that you do, and you're not being paid by a newspaper, but you're having to hustle with blogs, then you either go out there and write really clickbaity shit that will gradually just erode your brand and your voice because people just see you being venal for cash, or you'll be offered kind of tie-in sponsorship stuff. Like I was approached by a company, I won't say who went, Caitlin, you've got a YouTube channel, it's very successful. We will pay you £30,000 if you will sit in front of a camera and open a box and then react to whatever's in the box. Well, I know what's in the box. It's my tattered reputation. I can't do that. It's like kind of like, I can't do that. You know, I mean, that's a huge thing in the media now. You know, papers that, you know, online sources that do not pay, people who do not pay their interns. You just basically go in there and rewrite press releases for companies and place it on your website. Yeah, that's a, you know, most of the young journalists I know do that now, and that will be a huge thing in the future. That's a time bomb waiting to explode, because once you start infesting what should be free comment and voices that you can trust, once people realise the extent to which this is happening, you know, people will lose trust in you know, huge sections of the media. You know, it's just good to stick to the old model. I think sometimes you get the model right, and I love the paywall, man.